was some nonverbals, which was pretty cool. 3 nonverbals and 1 verbal. So anybody remember what any of them were? Yeah. Good.
Smile.
First thing, smile.
Customer react.
Best thing you can do if you want to make friends. It works all across pretty much the whole world. What'd you say?
Always see customer react.
Look people in the eye. That's the hardest one for me. Don't like looking people in the eye. It makes me feel very nervous. But I have to tell myself to do it. Find out what color eyes they have. But don't like stare at them. So look, don't stare. There's a difference. But most of us don't have a problem with looking people in the eye too much, so you don't have to worry about that. So you smile, real smile, not a fake smile, not a grimace. Don't bare your teeth. Hey, it's nice to meet you. You're like, are you a carnivore? Okay, there were 2 more. Anybody remember? So you smile, you look the person in the eye. Yes?
Welcome to Chick-fil-A.
Yes, you give them some kind of a welcome that lets them know you're glad they're here. I remember reading something about this one lady who was such a friendly person and people loved her so much because instead of saying, here I am, she was the type of person who always said, there you are. Oh, there you are. And it made people feel good that they had showed up because somebody was glad they were there. Oh, there you are. And it was about tone, not like, there you are. Or your mom when she's been looking at you for 10 minutes. There you are. Where have you been? Different. Tones are important. That would be the other thing. Anybody remember now? Even people who are here remember now. Use a friendly tone. So you're going to smile, you're going to look somebody in the eye, you're going to say something pleasant, and welcome them in a friendly tone. And a lot of that is what we're going to be talking about today, just basic stuff on how to appear, not just verbal, but how to appear friendly when you want to be friendly and you want to communicate with other people. Sometimes arguments and misunderstandings happen not because anybody had any bad intentions, but just because their nonverbals communicated things that they didn't intend, and it doesn't turn out very well. The other person assumes the wrong thing, and then maybe they say a little sarcastic comment. Well, the other person's just minding their own business, and they're like, what? You want me to break a leg? And then they're upset, and they're thinking things, and it just goes back and forth, and it spirals down when nobody had any bad intentions to start with. And after they've argued for 10 minutes, finally somebody's like, why are we doing this? What started this? And they can't even figure it out. So we're going to learn some stuff to try and make your reactions and actions toward people pleasant instead of the other way. So, first of all, words are at the top. So you go verbal first, all you verbal people. This is very simple, but it's something we don't often do. Hi, so-and-so. Put down name. Hi, name. And you're not going to say hi, name. You're going to say their name. Hi, name. Oh. This is very hard for me. I forget people's names so bad.
Can you make a honey room?
Sure. Bob. We'll call everybody Bob. Hi, Bob.
Yeah.
Everybody Bob. You should do that. When you see Pastor Papers today, I want everybody to say hi, Bob. Pastor Bob. You can call Pastor Bob. You want to learn someone's name, and I'm really terrible at names because I'm paying attention so much to all the nonverbals that like the verbals just go somewhere else. And my problem is I remember people by the clothes that they're wearing, which is that helpful next time I see them because how often are they wearing the same thing? So it's a good idea, get a face and a name, not their clothes, not their clothes. So, hi so-and-so, hi Joshua, write your own name, don't write my name, and don't write Bob. I'm Kim. It's nice to meet you. When I lived in Kosovo, that's one of the phrases that we taught them in our English class. It's nice to meet you. And that was a hard thing for them to say because they didn't have the E sound. So it's nice to meet you. And we like, no, E, like this, like you smile. And then they did a little skit at the end of the time we were there, and they made fun of me. They were like, meet you. I'm like, okay, fine. But you know how to do this. And the nice thing is it's nice to meet you. That does come with a natural smile. Now, you've probably seen, maybe your siblings, maybe someone else, Okay, and so they're like, oh, this is Bob. You know, he's just your age and he really likes random something or another, climbing trees and shooting laser guns at his brothers. Y'all will be great friends. Oh, yes, we will. Okay. And so you need to go meet Bob. And you feel awkward and Bob feels awkward. And so you go like, it's nice to meet you. Is Bob going to feel happy? No. And so Bob's like, it's nice to meet you. No. And then you both are going to avoid each other as much as possible because nobody did it right. Now, even if you feel awkward and weird, you look the person in the eye, you smile, and you say, it's nice to meet you. Now, it's interesting because that may be something you totally faked. It's nice to meet you. But it didn't look like it was fake. Think of acting. I hate to say it, but for those of us who are introverts or who are shy naturally, a lot of our interactions with other human beings are us acting. I have a lot of imaginary friends. I don't have to act with them. I write books about them. But in real life, when I'm meeting somebody, if I am nervous, I shouldn't act the way I feel. Would you please say something because I feel so awkward? I mean, every once in a while you can say that and it breaks the ice and people are like, ha ha ha, I'm like, is anybody else as awkward as I am? And they're all like, yes, we all are, you know? And then you know you're not alone. Me too. But if you just fake it a little bit, it usually works. So like, hey, it's nice to meet you. Handshake is often good. American handshake is like hand out. Usually one, maybe two, depending on whether you're a guy and you're trying to prove you're, you know, like stronger than somebody else and stuff. It's not my thing. But a good American handshake is not floppy, even for girls. So I've been, yes.
So earlier, I went with Daddy to get braces.
Yeah.
And when we were leaving, we went into O'Reilly's, and there was a man there, and he was talking to a lady. And when he was about to leave, he shook hands with her, and he was like, "Oh, I want to shake hands with you again. You shake hands better than most men do."
Nice. So see, you appreciated that. Now I have lived in countries where that's totally aggressive and rude. So if you ever move to another country, find out what a good handshake is. Their handshake was more like a slide, touch and slide thing, and you had to bend over. Drove my husband crazy. He was like, oh, you know, it's like a wimp handshake. But if you did an American handshake, that was basically like, we're gonna take over the world, you know. So here in America, it's just like hand out, look them in the eye, it's nice to meet you. If you go into your doctor's office or something and they say, hey, I'm Dr. So-and-so, and you like, nice to meet you, you probably don't need to shake his hand, but you just look him in the eye and say, it's nice to meet you, he will probably be surprised. Because to be honest, most of the time the parents look at him and the kids pretend he doesn't exist because they don't know how to interact with adults. That's one thing that's nice about being a homeschooler. Most of y'all have learned how to actually interact with people who are taller than you, and it's just lovely. So, you're looking him in the eye. Hi, so-and-so. It's nice to meet you. My name's Kim. That's where you start. So we're going to read this together. We're going to meet Bob or Barbara. Bob or Barb. Bob or Barb. And you're going to say your name, and then you're going to say, it's nice to meet you, and include a smile right there. You ready? Good tones. Not like, I mean, you're making me nervous. Ready? Hi, Barb. I'm Monica.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I hear the sarcasm ringing from you, but that's okay. Even if you have to fake it, sometimes you can even be honest. You're meeting somebody, it's so embarrassing. You're just like, hey, it's nice to meet you. I don't know about you, but I'm like so embarrassed right now that my parents made me do this. And they might be like, me too. My parents always make me meet everybody. Every time we go anywhere, I have to shake hands with a doctor every single time. You know, you just might find a good friend. Okay. Now, there are other things here for our little stick friend Bob, who has a weird look on his mouth. He's trying to smile. He's trying. He's faking it, but he is trying. And that's what matters. Okay. So, first thing, what's here? Grits.
Where?
She's lost on our stick person.
Oh, eyebrows?
Yes, your eyebrows are part of this
He
situation.
doesn't have eyebrows.
You know he doesn't. You should give him some. Give poor Bob some eyebrows and put them up.
I was like this?
Not up as in, ooh, what are you doing? But when you raise your eyebrows, interesting happens. We're like, oh, you probably never thought about it because it's just a natural thing. Like there's a, oh, hey. It's not like, it's not, I can't even do it. You can't do a happy, excited face without your eyebrows. Hey! It just doesn't work. Oh, we've got nice eyebrows. All right. Next one down. Laura. Okay, what's going on with the eyes? Look at the face or the eye. So I told you about looking people in the eye. And again, I mentioned that I feel very awkward doing that. So I often look at the whole person's face. And that's okay. So you're centering somewhere around the nose. Don't stare at your nose or you're going to think something's falling out of it. But generally looking at someone's face is good. Not here or here. And that's, by the way, if you ever wear a name tag because you're going to some convention or something, they call it putting it high and right. So you put it right about here because when you go to shake someone's hand, it fits right on the eye level. So I can learn that this young man's name is Tate and he's a nice young man and I like him. Eyebrows up. Okay. Mouth. What's the mouth doing? Everybody say it together.
Smile.
Even if it's a little wobbly, at least you're trying. That's good. Below the smile, what do we got? So what? What are your shoulders doing? Your shoulders are back. No hunching. Okay, now if you have a back problem and you have to hunch, that's okay. But a lot of times the slouching thing is a teenage thing, and it really communicates, I hate the world and I want to get back to my video game. I don't want to be here, or I'm on my phone pretending you don't exist. By the way, being on your phone and scrolling is a very clear communication. Go away. If I see someone and they're on their phone scrolling, I leave them be because I know that's what I do when I really don't want to talk to people. So if you're in Walmart and you accidentally see me and you don't want to talk to me and you start doing this, I'll leave you alone. But if you do want to make friends with someone in the universe that's not on the internet, put the phone down, put your shoulders back. So everybody put your shoulders back. Posture, boys and girls. Not back like you're in the military. Hello. Hello, so-and-so. But a natural back as in I'm here and I am present. I'm not dying of boredom and can't wait to go home. If you're gonna hunch, you might as well roll your eyes because those go together. Okay, what's your head supposed to be doing? Audrey, what's your head doing? Okay, so your head is involved in this process. Exactly. She's out for You're not like, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, though. Nice to meet you. You're actually engaging. This is a person in the world you would like to make friends with. Even if you don't really want to make friends with them, it's just less rude to actually look at them and act like they are human. Okay, what's your hand doing? A wave or handshake or?
Elbow bump.
Okay, that, COVID and all that. Some people are still doing the elbow bump. If they want to do the elbow bump, that's fine. Now, we aren't talking about like, hey, maybe you're a guy, maybe that'll make friends, I don't know. But sometimes for people, if I'm kind of like, it's not really a handshaking sort of thing, we're not at a work convention, so this is kind of awkward, and I'm not near that person, so it's just like, hey, it's nice to meet you. That works a lot for girls, especially if it's like a guy situation and you would feel totally weirdo, being like, hello, my name is Kim, and I'm here to intimidate you. I am one of those kind of girls. Okay, so you just want to be like, hey, nice to meet you. There have been situations I've been in where the person's, like way far away, but they're a handshake type person, and so we're like, hey, and they got to march all the way over and just kind of like, So if it's just not a handshake kind of moment, this works, and that also lets them know they don't have to shake your hand because you did a hand thing and they did a hand thing. It's kind of like a side hug when you're just like, please don't hug me, and so you just sort of do this like, Communicates. Nonverbals are good. So knowing what your nonverbals are going to be is actually useful in your life because you are the one in control. You're not just standing there kind of waiting like, and because you don't know what they're going to do, you feel really awkward and kind of scared and nervous, and therefore all your nonverbals are like, go away, you evil, horrible person, because, you're scaring me to death. But it's not their fault. They might be very nice. complimented, and not like creepy compliment. You ever seen my little furry friend? Okay. So, just something general and normal. If you see some random person in the drive-thru, I like to point out their fingernails sometimes. If they're wearing fun fingernails, I'm like, love your nails. And they suddenly change. It's serious. It's like, here's your stuff, love your nails. Thanks. It's almost like, I don't know, it's just like you became a human or something. A statement. Okay, this is just like for you direct people. Just think about reality. Wow, it's really hot today. That's what guys do when they get together. They talk about the weather, or they talk about like, folks just see the football game last night, or just random like direct stuff. I want a cookie. Can I have a cookie? Okay, easy peasy. Here we go. This one is my favorite, and it is going to carry through the rest of this entire class. If you do this, you get points. You ready? Wear a what's it. Number 3 on the easy peasy sheet is wear, W-E-A-R, other than where is it, but wear it, like wear it on yourself. Wear a what's it, W-H-A-T, as in what, S-I-T. Really, you can spell it however you want, because it's not a real word. What's it, as in what is that? If Tess had a stuffed animal of her, whatever animal that she likes, I would be curious about this, because I've never seen one. And I'd be like, what's that? And it would give us something to talk about. Boom! Yay! I don't have to repeat 3 phrases because she hasn't said 3 phrases yet. So I need something to say to start with. So if you're wearing a what's it, like a hat, or a shirt, I love your shirt, it's so cute, it's so fun. And she could say something about that animal, which I cannot think of at this exact moment. Thank you. If you're wandering around with a rubber chicken, I can ask a question about that because that's interesting. I can find out what is the point of his shirt, and he can actually tell me something profound. Unless he just really thought it was cool color. So, wearing a what's it is something that can start a conversation. And if you're the type of person who doesn't like starting conversations, wear a what's it, and it gets them to start the conversation. This is a good thing. So, for example, I'm wearing this. What could you say to me? Okay, my hat says blowing rock. Now, if you met me and stood close enough to me to know that, how many of you know what a blowing rock is? One person, which means all of you have a what's it. You could be like, see your hat says blowing rock. Where's that? Now we suddenly have something to talk about. I can tell you all about where it is. You can find out in North Carolina. You can be like, oh, I went to North Carolina once and blah, 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 blah. And I got stung by a bee and I went to the hospital. Oh my goodness, that's really crazy. And I met this doctor and he blah, blah, blah. You can just go on and on and on and on and on. Basically just from this one little question, as opposed to we stand here and stare at each other awkwardly until we're finally allowed to go home. Nice to meet you. And we don't have any idea if we have anything in common or not. Because most of the time we don't run around between 4 pictures saying my favorite animal or my favorite food or my favorite whatever is. We need help. Even adults have a hard time with this. You ask the same stupid questions or you say the same stupid things and